Well, after a 3-month wait for everybody, sport is back on our screens. Project Restart has begun in a bid to get some league seasons finished. So our coverage restarts, and our highlight show today starts with a crucial clash at the top of the Premier League between Manchester United and Spurs, the top two in the title race of course. And then we are heading back to the Champions League to finish up the quarter-final legs that we left 3 months ago. Manchester United holding on to a vital lead going into this one. Highlights from Project Restart's first games coming next. Welcome to what has been dubbed as Project Restart. Welcome to a Premier League game in June. In one of the most weirdest scenarios we have ever had in the football world, we are bidding to get this season finished, and for teams like Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United, which is our live coverage of the game today, our first ever since March, it is going to be of significance because this could decide the title today. Tottenham Hotspur are still sitting, I believe, 4 or 5 points clear at the top of the table, so it is a battle of the top two teams in the league, and I think it is going to be settled. As far as the top two places are concerned, it pretty much is going to go to Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. Either way around, Arsenal are in with an outside chance, of course, but it is going to go down to Manchester United and Tottenham as to who wins the league to close in. And there has been plenty of drop points in the second half of the season for Jose Mourinho's side, and that's what leads us to today. And today we have a draw at the end of the first half, 0-0, no goals. Manchester United slightly the better side. This is a real 6-pointer and could decide the destination of the title. On the first day of Project Restart, we have no goals. United 0, Spurs 0. Thanks to Harry Kane, because Moura pretty much practically ran into McTominay, and now he's played a ball forward. Now, and Mason Greenwood is going to get there, and he's going to score! Mason Greenwood makes it 1-0. 1-0 to Manchester United. Is that man again, Mason Greenwood, who just cannot stop scoring this season. Well, it was a hit out of hope rather than expectation pass from McTominay here. But Mason Greenwood was just quicker than Vertonghen, quicker than the other defender as well, putting it in the corner. And Mason Greenwood is continuing the most sensational season I have ever seen from a young player. This kid is a bona fide striking talent with all the goals he has scored so far this season. And that's a rocket that Hugo Lloris had no chance of stopping. And this is a crucial goal. If Manchester United can win here, it changes the complexion of the title race completely, going to the final 7 games of the season after this. Ali. Here's Harry Kane. And the space there. And it's gone through David De Gea and into the back of the net. Harry Kane has scored. And there's slices of luck in it. It went through David De Gea's legs. But Harry Kane is putting the same misery on Gregg Popovich as he did in the first game. Well, there was a huge gap between Ruben Diaz and Lindelof. What was happening there? Let's have a look at this. And Kane just runs towards the ball, and somehow Diaz and Lindelof just part like the Red Sea. They just give the Kane the space, and it nicks off Lindelof, I think, through the legs of De Gea. It's a howler, really. Not by De Gea by any cause. And while Lindelof's just unlucky, he throws himself at it, and it nicks off him. I think it comes off his thigh area, if anything, and goes past De Gea into the back of the net. It's a rather unfortunate moment for David De Gea. He's really found it hard to keep clean sheets this year, but he hasn't had to. Manchester United scoring in abundance of goals usually, and Ruben Neves will take it. And headed away by Vertonghen, and that could be the final action of the game. Wan-Bissaka has latched onto it, but that could be game over, and it is. Manchester United, a goal apiece between Mason Greenwood and Harry Kane, the scorers of the season. Probably a fair result. Manchester United probably slightly better, but it is as you were at the top then. So having a look at match day 31, the first game back for everybody then. Plenty of goals. Aston Villa just having an incredible season, to be fair. Another big win, 4-2 against Brighton of Albion. Sheffield United do get a point at the battle at the bottom, but it could turn out to be superfluous in the end. With a 1-1 draw against Southampton, Bournemouth losing 3-1 to Manchester City, Arsenal not able to capitalise on the draw at Old Trafford. They lose 2-0 to Liverpool today. Moving on, Watford have a 2-0 win against Leicester City. It's Chelsea that benefit the most from the dropped points as they won against fellow relegation strugglers Norwich City. That's Sheffield United, that is. Everton 1, Wolves 0, Newcastle 0, Palace 1, and West Ham 3, Burnley 1. Matches up, rolls up the scores for today, and well, it's as you were at the top then. No changes at all. Manchester City go into 3rd place, but 6 points behind Manchester United. As we said at the top of the show, the first 2 positions could be sure-fired already. Arsenal dropped to 4th with their loss today. Everton in 5th, Liverpool in 6th. Chelsea move up to 7th, but it looks like their title race is over. They were in the title race at one point. Leicester dropped to 8th. West Ham and Aston Villa completing the top 10. There's a bit of a gap of 9 points between Aston Villa and Wolves. Watford and Crystal Palace move up. Bournemouth move down. And at the bottom, it is as you were, really from a few weeks ago actually. There is still an outside shot for Norwich City, but it is looking bleak. Sheffield United the same. Burnley, there is a gap of 10 points between Brighton and Norwich City. With games winding down, Norwich City could be relegated in a game or two if things keep going on like this. And the same probably could be said for Sheffield United as well. Burnley, it's between Burnley and maybe just Brighton of our Albion, because obviously Southampton are sitting up there on 29 points. So I think Norwich and Sheffield United almost certain to go down, and it could be between Burnley and Brighton who joins them at the end. So game 2 of what they call Project Restart, and we return to the Champions League tonight for the long-awaited second leg between Bayern Munich and Manchester United in the Champions League quarter-final stage. Manchester United, back in March, attained a 1-0 lead that they have held ever since, because there's been no football for 3 months. But, yes, they continue to have the 1-0 lead through Mason Greenwood, who actually doesn't make the team today, probably being rested after the game at Spurs. And let's not forget, Manchester United have an FA Cup, I believe it's quarter-final or semi-final. I've lost track of where we are at this point, because we've had 3 months away. But it is that kind of stage between them and Liverpool coming up, so Gregg Popovich probably wants to prioritise the one he can possibly win, because Europe's elite are Europe's elite for a reason. But don't forget, Gregg Popovich last time in this very stage was 2-0 down to Juventus, and he overturned that, and he overturned the deficit to PSG as well. Bit of a change for Bayern Munich since the last match. Kimmich has come in, as is Ivan Perisic. Fernandes is at left back, but aside from that, it is the same team that started at Old Trafford. Plenty of changes for Gregg Popovich, however. David De Gea now is in goal. Tuanzebe is partnered with Lindelof. Brandon Williams is on the left back. It's Fernandes, Matic and Neves. And rather than Greenwood and Rashford, it's Ighalo and Rashford with Martial playing behind them. Nemanja Matic comes in for Paul Pogba, who has not played for a while now. Paul Pogba's had a consistent run of games, not actually in the team for some reason. Let's hope people don't get 2 and 2 together and make 6 and come up with something rather crazy, because Gregg Popovich has been adamant that Paul Pogba will be staying for as long as possible. But obviously Gregg Popovich is in a contract year, and we were obviously speculating at the time of season suspension what would happen to Coach Pop. Manchester United were adamant that the season isn't over yet, and if it is, that's when we'll talk. The season got restarted, so that talk will have to be postponed for a while. Obviously, as we get closer to the end of the season, it is going to become a pertinent subject in Manchester United's immediate future. Ighalo there, oh, and he almost scored an absolute whirly against Manuel Neuer. That would have really been a highlight of his career. A wonderful play there from Rashford. Now Martial sends away Diogo Dalot again. Dalot whips it in towards Rashford, and it's hit. And it could be game over, and it's another superb cross for Diogo Dalot, who once again is just so good at crossing the ball. And that's why Gregg Popovich has been using it so much this season. He hasn't had a winger, so the fullbacks have had to do all the work. And they've done it brilliantly in the case of Dalot and Tellez in particular. Great header from Rashford. And that settles the tie more or less now. And it's another absolutely pinpoint cross from Dalot and Rashford. That is a great header out of the top drawer. That is Alan Smith-esque from Marcus Rashford, a man who has blossomed under Coach Popovich in the first 2 seasons before the inevitable rise of Mason Greenwood. But I'll tell you something, if Gregg Popovich does stay on and he challenges next season, he could have the possibility of probably one of the scariest striking partnerships in the league. That has already been the case this season because Rashford and Greenwood have been scoring for fun between them. And if Manchester United can just probably get a winger on board, an actual winger, to ping crosses like that and take the weight off Dalot for having to push forward from fullback position, then United could be set. But who's to say they won't win trophies this season? Like we said, it has been a wild injustice how their football has not won cups already. And that's very harsh against Rashford. That's no real contact there. Boateng's trying to shield the ball and he gets the foul there. Thiago with a great interception there for Dalot, and that ends the first half. A first half that Manchester United have taken the lead through Marcus Rashford after a great pass from Dalot. The tie seems all wrapped up at the moment with a 2-0 aggregate lead. Here is Martial. Rashford. And now Igalo has put it in. And it is all over. Manchester United have a compelling, an unassailable lead. 3-0 in aggregate, 2-0 on the night. And Bayern Munich have really just been nowhere. It's been very unlike the German champions to be very off colour like they have been. Igalo really did make that look easy. We thought Namal Noah was going to be a tough customer to score against, but whereas he hasn't been immensely easy, Igalo found it easy to score there. And, it's inevitable when Gregg Popovich is in town and his squad is on the form here in at the moment. You don't really know what you're going to get with Manchester United, but they did go on that long run for about 8 games unbeaten since Boxing Day before finally losing. And it might have cost them the league. But like we said, if Gregg Popovich can walk away with the FA Cup this year, that will be an achievement after losing it the last 2 seasons in trophies he should have won, that is. And everyone at Bayern Munich is behind the midfield line here. And Manchester United are away. Rashford. Igalo has gone through and somehow put it in. Odin Igalo, who has been a star in the Champions League to be fair, has scored a wordly to be honest. How did he get that in? How did he even get that off? Well, Odin Igalo here. It was wonderful play by United. Too many Bayern Munich players behind the halfway line. And Igalo somehow, even though he got tripped, he had the wherewithal. It was pretty much like Ruben Neves' goal earlier in the season. He latches onto it, collides with the defender. The defender then lays off him, and Igalo's foot long enough to put it in the back of the net past Namal Neuer. Bayern Munich have had a mare in this tie, to be fair. As Perisic comes off Alaba, the soccer, Marcus Rashford is there again. And Bruno Fernandes, and that is the end of the game. Manchester United in control of this tie from the very outset. 2 from Igalo and 1 from Rashford sailed in. So let's take a look at all the second leg scores in the quarterfinals and what that means of who progresses. And Liverpool, last year's winners, have been unfortunately knocked out by Manchester City after a 1-0 win on the night. Put them through 2-1 in aggregate. Paris Saint-Germain could be setting up another possible rematch with Manchester United. They beat Barcelona by 0-0 after 0-0 in the first leg, and Barcelona are eliminated. And finally, Lille have absolutely done a demolition job on Chelsea by 6-2. Obviously, following on from the 4-0 win in the first leg, Lille scored another 2, and even though Lampard's side got another 2, the deficit was far too high.